morning. Welcome everyone to this morning special retreat with Swami Chetanananda. This is our 20th retreat, continuously run retreat. So we are hoping to celebrate Silver Jubilee very soon. Swami Chetanananda does not require any introduction, but still those who are here, for them I need to say a few things. Swami Chetanananda is a monk of the Ramakrishna order and is the minister of Vedanta Society of Kansas City and St. Louis, Missouri. In Kansas City there is a sub-center of St. Louis. So in that way he is in charge of the Buddha centers. He has been associated with the order since 1950. He officially joined the order as a monk in 1960 and he was initiated by Swami Chetanananda, the 7th president of our order. And he was the private secretary of Swami Brahmananda, who was the first president and brother disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Before coming to the United States, Swami worked in the publication and editorial departments of Advaita Ashram at Mayavati, Himalayas, and its branch in Calcutta. That is a very big publication center, one magazine, Prabuddha Bharat, and many books are published from there. He served as the assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Los Angeles, from 1971 to 78. In 1977-1978, he served as Vice President of the Inter-Religious Council of Southern California. And at present, he is a cabinet member of the Interfaith Partnership of St. Louis. He was transferred to St. Louis, Missouri in March 1978 and served as Assistant Minister of the Vedanta Society of St. Louis under Swami Prakashananda. He was also a disciple of Swami Brahmananda and a very scholarly person, and he has many good books to his credit. And he became the minister of the society in January 1980 after the death of Swami Prakashananda in November 1979. He is also the minister of the Vedanta Society of Kansas City, as I told you. Now, Swami is very well known as writer and speaker. Writer, definitely, he has to his credit at least about 17 or 18 English books and equal number of Bengali books also he has authored. I will just mention a few. So, Ramakrishna, a biography in pictures, Holy Mother, a biography in pictures, Ramakrishna and his divine plague, Sri Sarada Devi and her divine plague. Ramakrishna, as we saw him, they lived with God, God lived with them. Girish Ghosh, a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, then Vedanta, voice of freedom. Vivekananda, East meets West. Mahendranath Gupta, meditation and its methods, a guide to spiritual teachings of Swami Brahmananda. How a shepherd boy became a saint, short biography, teachings and reminiscences of Swami Adbhutananda. Then spiritual teachers, letters of Swami Turiyananda and Avadhuta Gita. He is continuously writing books, and all his books, most of the books definitely, will be available in the bookstore, and he will be happy to sign them after this session and also after the evening session. And he has written the same number as I told you. It is not very important to mention here, but definitely all the English books that he has written, most of the books are available in Bengali translation also. And he has also produced some CDs and videotapes. So I am very happy. He is coming here since many years. Before I came here, he used to come here to meet our previous Swami Chetanananda Maharaj. And he had a very, what is called, good connection with him even before he had joined. That means he knew Swami Chetanananda Maharaj before his journey because he lived in that area. So that attraction brought him every year to meet Swami Chetanananda here. And he graciously agreed to come and continue his visits by giving us a retreat. So I am very happy and I welcome him, and I welcome you all for attending this 20th retreat with Swami Chetanananda. His subject is this time stories of Vedanta monks, and it will be in two parts. First part now, and it will end with questions and answers, and then second part will be at 4 p.m. Stories of Vedanta monks, same thing with questions and answers. And in between we shall have break. At 1 p.m. we have lunch. Then there will be 2 p.m. we have open time for resting. Then at 3 p.m. we have one local talent, Ujjwal Chaudhary. He will present a few songs for 45 minutes. Then Swami will be speaking. Then 5:30 there will be break. 5:45 there will be Vesper service Arati, and we shall end our retreat at 6:15 p.m. with refreshments. So now I welcome Swami Chetanananda to begin his talk. Oh, I see.
बंधौ संत संतन चरण दुख प्रदौ भयो पीछ कुछ वर्ण विचुरित एक प्राण हरि लई मिलत एक दारुण दुख दे तुलसीदास I bow down to both the holy and the unholy, good and bad, because both give me pain. When the unholy come to me, I get pain. And when the holy depart from me, I get pain. So both give me pain, so I salute both. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace be unto all. As you have heard, the retreat is on stories of Vedanta monks. Today's retreat will be very informal. I shall tell you the stories I know personally. I worked on a book called Prachin Sadhudev Katha, the stories of the old ancient monks of the Ramakrishna order. It will come in 2 volumes. The first volume has come out. This is the first volume. Our source, Sri Ramakrishna. The first generation, Sri Ramakrishna's direct disciples, the 16 disciples, whom Sri Ramakrishna trained. The second generation, those monks who are trained by the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. The third generation, we. We have not seen Sri Ramakrishna, the Jari disciples, but we met the second generation. And those stories I am going to tell you. How they are trained by Sri Ramakrishna's disciples. Once in Kashipur, a young disciple said, I know. Sri Ramakrishna immediately scolded him. What? What do you know? Never say I know. You say, Jatodin bachi, totodin shiki. As long as I live, so long do I learn. There is no end of learning. Swami Vivekananda said, my religion is to learn. Miss Josephine MacLeod made a remark, you people think Swamiji was a great teacher, but we saw him, Swamiji was a great learner. He continuously learned. As a result, his lectures, his talks are never dull, insipid, always fresh. Lord, the Upanishad tells us, learn till your face shines like an aura Brahman. In the Gita, we hear Tadvidhi Purnipatena Puripraslena Shivaya. Learn through humility, through sadness. In the Bhagavatam, we find Avadhuta had 24 gurus. And he learned from each one of them. Some are good, some are bad. So we must learn. Some of the reminiscences I am going to tell you are great lessons for me and for all of you. These people are the talkers of religion. They practice religion, they demonstrated religion. Their lives are the paradigm for all of us. I remember when I started to visit monastery, I was 14 years old. Came in contact with many disciples of Holy Mother, Swamiji, Swami Brahmananda, and other Jari disciples. At least I met two persons who saw Sri Ramakrishna. Wife of Upendranath Mukherjee, Boshumati Ma, and Ramendra Sundar Bhakti Tirtha. He was 12 years old, a boy, went with his father, met Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna put his hand on his head and said, "Tu dirghajivi hobi, punjit hobi. You will live long and you will be a Pandit." And I met him when he was 94 years old. He wrote the book Ramakrishna Bhagavat. The life stories of these great monks are the part of the history of the Ramakrishna order. History never stops. It flows through ups and downs. History is just like a golden boat. Many passengers cannot be accommodated. The boat takes those people who contributed to humanity, to the organization maximum. That is the way we find the life stories of these people, how much they have given to us. I remember I read Gulistan by Sadi. It is a world classic. one of his friends came to him and was picking some flowers and take to home. So he told Sadi, I am taking these flowers for my home. Sadi said, the longevity of those flowers only 4 or 5 days. It will fade. But I shall build a garden. They call it Gulistan, means the garden of roses. I shall build something whose fragrance will continue forever. And he started to write Gulistan with beautiful stories and poems, connecting with human civility, morality, ethics, love, contentment, serving others. And those stories came from generation after generation. Similarly, these great monks of the Ramakrishna order left their legacy for all of us, and that legacy must continue, otherwise it will die. I sometimes say the Ramakrishna order is something unique. Swami may come, Swami may go, but Ramakrishna is a permanent resident here. Same teachings of Vedanta will be taught from this temple, generation after generation. Eternal spiritual flow of Sri Ramakrishna. To me, Sri Ramakrishna is just like a perpetual snow range I have seen from Mayavati. 250 miles in front of you. Their snow never melts. At some part of the lower part of this Himalayan range, the snow melts, and that becomes the river. Ganges, Indus, Brahmaputra. And those rivers are both sides of the rivers you will find all great civilizations were developed. Look, the Tigris, Euphrates, the Nile, Egyptian civilization, Huangho, Yangtze-Kiang, Chinese civilization, all the great rivers, both, look, Mississippi River, Missouri River, both sides you will find human population. So Sri Ramakrishna is spiritually melted and flowed through his disciples. And that disciples give those spirituality to the next generation. Then came to the next generation. This is the way the spirituality, the spiritual current of Sri Ramakrishna will flow. That is my introduction. In this book I recorded 40 monks and their brief life stories and also some of their teachings and conversation with me. I shall not go in details, I only will give you the highlights. I remember first Swami Chetanananda. After my initiation, I asked Maharaj, give us some advice. Advice, Upadesh, only Upadesh. Nobody follows, only asks Upadesh, only ask advice. So we kept quiet. Read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna every day. Sri Ramakrishna answered all questions connecting with the spiritual life. If Sri Ramakrishna's teachings will not satisfy you, my teachings will not satisfy you either. Follow Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, universal teachings. And when I was coming from St. Louis, some Devotees said, Swami, you will not be here nearly 2.5 months, give us a summer task. I said, well, read one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita in the morning and 4-5 pages of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in the evening after dinner. That is the summer task. Within 3 months you will see a change. You read first chapter of the Gita, next the second chapter, next the third chapter, go 18th chapter, again come back. Rotate. You will see whether your life changes or not. Gita will give you the direction of your life, and the Gospel of Ramakrishna will give you holy company. I remember Prabhupada told me, he went to Swami Chetanananda, who experimented Gita in his life. Maharaj, will you teach me Gita? Sure, come tomorrow. He went, read one verse of the Gita, memorize it, get its meaning, practice it. Until you get perfection, don't check the next verse. This is my first class and this is my last class. Very, how they practiced all those things and how they taught. Another monk came to him and said, Maharaj, 20 years ago I joined the monastery. But in the beginning I had so much longing, renunciation. I don't see those things in me anymore. Swami became very grave. Go home right now. Maharaj, I left home, I became a monk. No, you go back home. Then he explained. If you go home, you will see your friends, your brothers, your relatives earning perhaps little money, cannot do well in the family. They have so much pain, suffering, you will see. Look, those renunciation, those longing are now in the blood stream, which is flowing inside. You do not say. But the moment you leave this monastery, this spiritual environment, then you will see the difference. You see, the home of a fish is the water. If you take the fish from the water and put it in the ground, it will flops and flounders and it will die. Similarly, those who are spiritual people, the spiritual environment is their home. The moment they separate themselves, they suffer. That is the way we find the spiritual environment connection is very, very important. Someone asked Maharaj, what is the necessity? What are the things necessary for building a spiritual life? First, Atma Vishwas, self-confidence. You must focus your life. Of course, renunciation and purity are vital. Then he said, some people think I shall practice japa and meditation day and night. It is not so easy. That is the reason Swamiji introduced this karma yoga, which is extremely important. That I was telling yesterday, some devotees, I have a philosophy. If you work, you will die. And if you do not work, you will die. So it is better to work for the Lord. Then you will find the fulfillment in your life. When the gopis asked, I think it is, Krishna mentioned in the Bhagavatam how to attain fulfillment in life. Everybody wants fulfillment in life. Etavat janma sapalyam dehavavita dehishu pranui arthui vacha dhiya evam acharet sada. Krishna said, serve people pranui with your energy, arthui money, dhiya buddhi, intellect, vacha speech. Divert of these four things to serve others. You will find fulfillment in life. That means destroy your selfishness. Very few people can absorb in japa and meditation 24 hours. Some become crazy. Wonderful teachings. I have covered many Swamis anyhow. Then I met Swami Chetanananda. He was a vice president, and then he became president for 3 months, then he died from surgery. That Swami had some power. He could create such a spiritual atmosphere, unbelievable. In the afternoon, he would come and sit in the living room, surrounded by the devotees. He only talked about Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Upanishad and Gita. Somebody asked Swami, you are a disciple of Holy Mother, who is greater, Ramakrishna or Holy Mother? He smiled and said, well, I don't know who is greater, but I can tell you Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Holy Mother. So you know, now you decide who is greater. Then he said, Sri Ramakrishna saw Holy Mother from 3 angles. And Holy Mother saw Sri Ramakrishna from 3 angles. Sri Ramakrishna says, Sharada is my wife, my disciple, my Ishta, my chosen deity. And Holy Mother says, he is my husband, he is my guru, he is my chosen deity. But their relationship is very mysterious. Same consciousness in a female form, in a male form. They are both same. Remember something 2-3 years ago, I gave a series of talk here also. Gems from the Garden of Saints from Vishuddhananda's teachings. Great Swami. Swami Madhavananda, when I joined, he was then General Secretary. He was a very ideal, famous monk of our order. There are many little things we can learn from these great Swamis. He was very frugal. When he would go to the bathroom, sometimes he would turn on the taps and water continuously flows. He will take the water, rinse the mouth, again he will close. He will not waste. If I can save a little water from my sink, from my faucet, that water can help some people in the slum area. Never waste. I remember when we were from Calcutta, when we used to come to, from Belur Math, when we used to come to Calcutta, he would give us very official urgent letter to Swami Gambhirananda in an used envelope. As a general secretary, he will cut the envelope, save those envelopes, and put the letter there, then he will staple it and give this letter. The two from Swami Madhavananda to Gambhirananda. I saved at least 2 annas of Sri Ramakrishna. Because he believed that even if the devotees bring a little money for this Sri Ramakrishna service, we should not waste. There are so many things to learn from these people. There are many interesting things are there. Once I remember in 1963, Swamiji's centenary, we were very busy. I joined the monastery as a proofreader. So we are publishing Swamiji's works, centenary edition. So I said, Maharaj, Swami Gambhirananda said, I cannot go to the training center. I will be delayed 1 year because there is so much work to do. Gambhirananda said the right thing. Do you think he will be junior for 1 year? Because your vows will be late. Then we asked, do you know who is senior, who is junior? The person who is close to Sri Ramakrishna, he is senior. And the person who is far away from Ramakrishna, he is junior. Nai dharma vriddeshu vaya samikshati. Religion, spirituality cannot be ascertained by age. Sometimes we see young people extremely spiritual, old people very worldly. It does not depend upon age. Great lesson. He did not, when he became president, I took a photographer to take his photo. He was unwillingly to give the photo. While we were at the training center, sometimes I had night duty in his room. His attendants were working 24 hours, so we two boys used to go in his room. My duty was 11 to 2 o'clock at night. Then another brahmachari will come 2 to 5. Then his own attendants will look after him. Because if you want to, at that time, his eyes are not very clear. So if he wants to go to the bathroom, we will help him. Anyhow, at that time I used to read in his room in a corner in a small table light, I still remember. So what happened? He was meditating on his bed under the mosquito curtain and he forgot time, he forgot the space. And according to habit, when he tried to bow down, boom, he fell from the bed on the floor. I remember we lifted his body and put a stretcher and took to the hospital. And his femur bone broke. So he was in the hospital for some time and then I asked him, Maharaj, how are you? I'm fine. Do you have still that pain? Immediately he scolded me. Are you all right? I told him, yes. No, you are not all right. I told, no, Maharaj, I am all right. No, you are not all right. No. Diseaseless body is a contradiction in terms. No human body is perfect. If I send you to a doctor, they will find there is something somewhere wrong in your body. No human body is perfect. What he meant to say that, try to forget the body idea. Why are you reminding me about my body? I got a great lesson. A person came, a young monk, asked Maharaj, I have no peace of mind. My goodness, you have no peace of mind? But you see, from Calcutta, some rich people come with their wife, their children, and they go to Bellurama, Sri Ramakrishna, bow down, and they bow down to you, and they get peace. And you are complaining that you have no peace. Taking the dust off your feet, these rich people are getting peace, and you have no peace. Then I heard this thing from Chetanananda, that one young man wanted to join the monastery. And said, Maharaj, this boy is reading the Gospel of Ramakrishna, he wants to be a monk. My goodness, reading Gospel of Ramakrishna, nobody can be a monk. Ask him to read the works of Swami Vivekananda. Then he will get inspired, then he will join the monastery. Reading the Gospel of Ramakrishna, he will see God. At that time, you don't need to be a monk. He was an amazing personality. Nobody could argue with him. And about 100% pure sadhu. Sometimes he had to discipline some monks. But those monks, those who are punished, they even know this punishment is coming from a person who has zero selfishness or motive. Only love and compassion. They used to accept. Maharaj, whatever you said. We had a Swami. She was very, very difficult Swami. Very little power of adjustment. So, Madhavanandaji told him, there is some complaint against you. Then he said, there is complaint against you also. Then he said, the complaint which is against me, that the president of the order will take care of it. And the problem, the complaint against you, that I shall take care. Amazing. He was very particular about his traveling. He would consult the almanac. Then while coming from Mayavati, riding on the horse, he fell. Then Maharaj, you consulted the almanac, look, there is an accident. Which is good. Do you know what? According to if I would not consult the almanac, perhaps I would die on the ravine of the Himalayas. At least I had a little bruise and cuts. Then that is all right, because I consulted the almanac. He was a role model. One day another Swami went to his room and he was holding the grill of his room, of his window, watching. And the monk was standing behind him for 15 minutes. Then when he looked back, how long have you been here? Maharaj, I am here for nearly 15 minutes. Maharaj, I am very curious. Do you know, could you tell me what you are looking so intently? What are you looking intently? I was watching the leaves of that coconut palm tree. The wind of the Ganges blowing. The direction it was blowing, the same direction the leaf was moving. So I was thinking, if I could be in the hand of Sri Ramakrishna like that, then in what direction he will move, I shall move. Do you know what that means? Complete self-surrender. Zero ego. I am the instrument. God is the operator. I am the chariot. Master is the charioteer. In whatever direction he will drive me, I shall go to that direction. That I was thinking. You know, the little things are so great lessons for all of us. Then I'm just going to tell you some of our presidents I lived with. Swami Chetanananda, he was very short, not very bulky, not exact. I was talking about him. You know, sometimes we decide to evaluate human character seeing the form. Seeing your face, seeing your body, we decide, oh, what type of person is this? But it is hard to decide, evaluate that way. This Swami was not very good looking or something like that, very short. I was telling about our President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln went for a debate with Douglas, and Douglas shouted, "Don't give vote to Lincoln, he's a double-faced man." Lincoln got up and said, "My friend Douglas says I'm a double-faced man. If I had a spear face, do you think that I would carry this one?" Lincoln was not good looking at all anyway. "If I had a spear face, do you think I would carry this one?" But this Swami was extremely intelligent and very large-hearted. I remember after my initiation, I went to bow down to him and I asked some spiritual questions. "Why do you ask questions?" Then I answered, "Because I have questions." "Oh, you have questions." Then he told me, "Read 2 books, then you will never ask any questions. Dharma Prasanga Swami Brahmananda and Turiyananda Patra. Spiritual teachings of Swami Brahmananda, which I translated as a guide to spiritual life, and Turiyananda Patra, spiritual treasures, that also I translated. These 2 books, if you read, you will not have to ask questions to anybody." That he told me. Then one day he was asking me a question. I said, "So Maharaj, it seems to me," "What? It seems to me?" "Don't use any big words." "I think so, it seems to me." all such vague words. Either say I know or say I do not know. Listen, based on your words, I am going to make a decision. If your words are not right, my decision will not be right. I got a great lesson. Never use vague words, straight. But politicians, their one word will they make many meanings. Oh, I did not mean that. Oh, I did not mean that. Untruth. Another, he was power of adjustment. Most of the human problems, our day-to-day life, lack of communication and lack of power of adjustment, which is a huge monastic order. Think of the 1700 monks coming from 1700 families. Tremendous different background, different upbringing, different everything. Many of them different languages. There's everything different, but all came under Sri Ramakrishna's banner. That is worth seeing. That is really worth seeing, that everybody is carrying the ideal of Sri Ramakrishna. So what happened, one day he was telling me, Kombole lumbasle, komboli thakbe na. If you be selective, if you remove the fibers of a blanket, and finally there will be no blanket. So nobody is perfect. We have come here for perfection. But as I told you my funny story of the perfect, in a Christian church, the minister was pounding, "You people are all sinners. Only God is perfect. Nobody is perfect." Then he challenged, "Is there anybody who can say that anybody has seen perfect? Tell me." Nobody raised the hand. Raise your hand if anybody seen any perfect or heard about perfect. Raise your hand. Oh, from the back, one person raised the hand. "Are you perfect?" "No, sir." "Have you seen anybody perfect?" "No, sir." "Have you heard anybody perfect?" "Yes, sir." "Who is he?" "My wife's first husband." Only my wife's first husband will be perfect. So he was telling me that, we'll have to adjust with our various persons. Adjustment is very, very important. When Buddha was dying, his attendant was Ananda. And his secretary, his another disciple, Aniruddha, was asking Ananda, "He is dying. Before he dies, please ask our 4 questions. So Ananda went, "Tell me, what is your first question?" "When you will die, we shall collect your teachings, and how shall we introduce?" Use 4 words. "Thus I have heard." You will find all Buddhistic teachings that is very open. "Thus I have heard." Where shall we live? That is my second question. Mindfulness. When you will die, who will teach us? Vinaya. In the Tripitaka of Buddha, three books of Buddha, Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. In Vinaya Pitaka, Buddha taught about the disciplines of the monastics. Then he asked, if a monk is indisciplined, bad, what shall you do with him? Oh, that is very simple. What? On Allah, don't talk to him. Just ignore. Then he will know that he is not right. He will leave. Just ignore. You will not have to fight. But he has so much love and compassion. These people sacrificed their lives and now have come to the order, absorb them. I remember when I was leaving, it was 31st of May 1971, I went to his room in Bombay and I asked, Maharaj, I am going to America, I don't have no experience, and you please bless me. Yes. You are going to work for Sri Ramakrishna, never be afraid, Master will protect you. Another thing I used to observe, when in the evening, he used to come to bow down to the temples in Belur. The way he used to bow, he used to see Sri Ramakrishna standing, as if the Ramakrishna was leaving to him. Bowing down, then he will encircle, again he will bow down, then he will go to Brahmananda temple, Mother's temple, Shamaji's temple. Which is worth seeing these people, how they paid their respect to Sri Ramakrishna. Next president I met, Swami Chetanananda. He was from 1899 to 1988. I joined on the 1st December 1958. I joined when I came. So I joined there. Nearly 7 years closely I lived with him. His routine is something. Seeing his movement, you can adjust your watch. So punctual and so fast. Very large monk. He wrote many books. He would get up 4:30, meditate till 6. Then he would clean his correspondence. Then our routine, I am talking about an Advaita Ashrama. 6:30 to 7 breakfast, 7 o'clock to 7:30 class on Vedanta. Then he will do his work, 11 o'clock, he will take a shower, meditate, 12 o'clock lunch, reading a newspaper, 1 o'clock he will take rest, 2 o'clock he will start work till 5 o'clock, 5 to 6 he will go for work, then again he will meditate. My goodness, the way he worked, I was watching him. He was translating the reminiscence of Vivekananda. He has terrible stomach pain. Putting a hot water bag on his stomach, he was translating. Then I went to, first the manager went, don't disturb me. Then I went, Maharaj, you must take rest. If I lie down, do you think my pain will go away? No guarantee, Maharaj, but you must take rest. Then he said, you know, when I work for Swamiji, I forget my body idea. I don't get pain. I learned a great lesson from him. Great lesson from him. How to work for Sri Ramakrishna. Please remember, this world is called Karma Bhumi. Whatever you want to do, if you want to change your life and character, only here. Heaven is a Bhoga Bhumi. That is the place where you get the result of your action. This karma. I am a great believer of law of karma. Do here, then you can change your life and character. I have many reminiscences about him. I remember on 15th April 1961, he wrote a letter to me from Mayavati and quoting a poem. Name of the poem is Padivona. I cannot do it. There is a beautiful poem that we memorized when we were little boys, class 2, class 3. Never say the word I cannot. Why you cannot? Think about it again and again. If 10 people can do, you can also do. If you fail once, try you again. Never make your face gloomy and somber that I cannot do. That is the point. He quoted to me. In your life, never say I cannot. Swami Shankaranandaji said, in the monastery, sometimes I used to see that people are eager to take this simple job, easy one. And I used to take always the difficult one. The work which nobody wants to do. For two reasons. First, I would develop my self-confidence. I can do it. Second, I would feel the grace of the Master. The Sri Ramakrishna is bestowing grace to me. The Master is giving me power to do it. Honest work. I remember I think it was 1960, 1st of January, I went to attend big meeting in the Kashipur Garden House, 1st of January, Kolpur, Swami Gopirananda was lecturing. A famous political leader gave a talk and said, Sri Ramakrishna came for the householders. Monks already renounced home, they do not need Ramakrishna, they will be on their own journey. But Sri Ramakrishna came for the householders. And Gopirananda was the president. When the lecture was over, he said, Sri Ramakrishna neither came for the householder nor for the monks. He came for those who sincerely want God. And cut that man mercilessly. Why are you dividing Sri Ramakrishna for the householder and monk? One day Swami Sri Ramakrishna asked Swami Yogananda, what do you think of me? Sir, you are neither a monk nor a householder. What a great truth you have said. You see, God is not a householder and God is not a monk. He is God. God is not a householder, God is not a monk. Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated. Look at my ideal householders, Aim, Nagmaster, and look at my ideal monks, Vivekananda, Brahmananda. He showed both. He demonstrated. Look, my Latu, 0 education, nor a Brahman. Maharaj was sometimes, his name was Gumbirananda. Gumbir means very serious. But he really was very serious. But sometimes he had some humor also. One day he was telling him, sometimes people go and lecture and they exaggerate. Too much exaggeration. So his friend said, when you speak, people think that you are exaggerating, embellishing, which is not good. But when I exaggerate, please push me from the back. So he was telling, once we went for hunting and we killed a tiger who is 18 feet long. So the friends push. Well, I did not have the tail, but it must be 15 feet. Again push. In this way, he was reducing. Then it came to 6 feet. Then again the friends push. Then he was looking. Do you think that tiger did not have any tail? Sometimes people exaggerate. Actually, I learned some of his way of teaching, lecturing. Some people lecture they go back and forth, and there is no logical order. Sometimes the person announces this topic, he is not there, he is speaking something else. That we shall never see. The moment he announces topic, he will stick to that topic, and his thoughts will come logical, one after another. Amazing that some people lecture. I try to follow that style. The subject you announce, you must stick to that subject. And you must develop your ideas on that subject accordingly. That is really something. Wonderful. One day I was telling Maharaj, Swami Vivekananda's biography should be updated. Gargi's book has come, 6 volumes, so many new information about Swamiji. Our Swamiji's book, the Master of the Soil, Swami Vivekananda's life, by Eastern and Western disciples, those books should be updated. Well, then he was telling me, sure it should be updated. Then he told me a story. It takes time. One of my disciples gave it time. Actually, do it fast. Swami, things take time. She gave me a good lesson. Swami, wait. Then he was telling, Krishna, after the Mahabharata war, went to Dwaraka. Seeing Krishna, the women are closing the doors and windows. Oh, wherever he goes, he creates all trouble, war, and all these things. So Krishna was broken-hearted, was telling Uddhava, his cousin, I shall depart from this world. So Uddhava was crying. But I have a message. Before I go, I shall tell you that my last message. Please tell me what's the last message. Being a God, I came to this world. I could not change things. So in this world, nobody has to do anything. Christ came, Buddha came, Krishna came, Ramakrishna came. Do you think they solve all problems of the world? No way! The world goes as it is its own way. He told me. Then he finally said, look, this is the 4 aphorisms of dog's curly tail. The world is a dog's curly tail. That is the first aphorism. Second, we are going to straighten it out. Third, we shall definitely fail. Fourth, while trying to do so, we will be straightened out. Those are the 4 aphorisms of God's curly tail. One another Swami told me, Maharaj, why don't you give some advice to these young monks? Do they not see my life? That's it. I remember when he was going to Belur, there was a big feast, and I was the kitchen in charge. Running around buying food, 250 monks will eat, and nearly many items I have to cook, arrange. Then he was telling me, young man, why are you working so hard to throw me out from this place? One is it is a feast for his departure, you know. One day he was asking me, how many problems do you have? Maharaj, shall I be frank with you? I don't have any personal problem. But I have the problem of the center. That I have to face. Then I asked, how many problems do you have? Oh, you want to know my problem? Uncle, yes. You wanted to know my problem, I wanted to know your problem. Every day I open the mail, I get 30 to 35 problems. He was the General Secretary of the Ramakrishna Order. How do you solve? Sri Ramakrishna solves the problem. Sometimes time solves the problems. Time has a power to solve the problem. Swami Chetanananda told me a story. He came to Hollywood. I went to his room at 11 o'clock. I saw he was writing his diary. Then why are you writing diary? Oh, you want to know why am I writing diary? The diary tells me the world is not real. I go, how can it be? You don't understand? No. Look, here is an entry. 1 week ago, this problem was giving me so much trouble. But now I see that is nothing. 7 days ago, it became a big headache for me and I was very upset. But now I see that is meaningless. So I see that world is not real. Through my diary. You know, there are so many things to learn from these people. I left India, then I had a big trouble in Paris. My flight stopped in Moscow, then De Gaulle airport was not built, Orly airport in Paris. I missed Swami Chetanananda, so I had to go. So luckily I met some people from embassy, Indian embassy. They took me to their home, and I arrived in the center at midnight almost. I was dead tired. I am not familiar with. I said I have only $100 in my pocket. But the embassy people said, no, you do not know English and you have this ochre cloth, they will push you out from the car and who knows, you will have to go with us to the embassy. Then just God sent to me. Then I wrote a letter to Gambhiranandaji, Maharaj, you tied my hands and feet into the Pacific Ocean and if I want to survive, I will have to swim. I am helpless. Then he wrote me back, you do not know our history, your philosophy. Sri Ramakrishna will tie you hands and feet and beat you, you cry and you say, oh Lord, you are so merciful to me. ঠাকুর তোমাদের পিছাবেন আর তুমি কাঁদবে আর বলবে ঠাকুর তুমি বড় দয়ালু. Sri Ramakrishna will beat you and you cry and you say, Master, you are very great, you are very full of compassion. Another thing I learned, he came to Boston in 1972 for his detached retina surgery. So I went to see him in Massachusetts General Hospital. And I saw he was lying down and one American brahmachari was serving him attendant. The moment he heard that I came, he was very happy. Then he said, he was teaching, while lying down, he was asked that brahmachari, you read the Upanishad. And he was explaining Upanishad to that brahmachari. I am taking service to you, I shall also serve you. Then gospel about, then Chetanananda has come, please ask him to wait. You finish that verse. Do you know what I learned? Here is a person, perhaps going to be blind, Lord knows. He got his sight back a little bit. But how to keep mind in God in that moment? Sometimes many of us go to the hospital there when we are sick. How to keep the mind in God in that condition? I learned from this monk. He is trying to maintain in a state of mind, sometimes the very body concepts. Most of us very body conscious people. Body, body, body. And these people, they live in Atman, in God, not in the body idea. Which is worth seeing to see these people, I tell you. Everybody, we suffer. That means we have lot of body idea. Then when he came to Hollywood, he stayed next to my room. Uncle Maharaj, you know your rules and regulations are only for the good monks like me. Those who are powerful monks, you cannot impose rules on them. Then he was telling me, there are some basic rules are necessary in the monastic order. Swami Vivekananda framed those rules. We try to execute those rules. Uncle Maharaj, human heart is not like nut and bolt that you can straighten out. Swamiji says, love and freedom, these are the two conditions of growth. I was talking to him. Then do you know what he said? Let me tell you a story. A kabliwala, a man from Afghanistan, they sell some dry fruits in India, large bodies, turban on, long dress. They are from Afghanistan. They do not just bathe, they smell terrible sometimes. So it was heavy rain. That man, that Afghan person, went to Shiva temple, put his 2 feet with boots on Shiva's image and slept. Meanwhile, another Brahmin also entered the Shiva temple because of rain. Accidentally, his foot touched the image. Immediately, Shiva, with a trident in hand, was about to punish this Brahmin. Look, it is true, accidentally my foot touched, I am not disrespectful toward you, but accidentally it happened, but I bowed down. But what about that Afghan person? He put his 2 feet on your head and you are not taking any action against him. Then Shiva said, because he does not believe in me. He does not believe in me, so I cannot take any action. But you believe in me, I must take you action. So you are a good monk, I want all the rules and regulations for you. He was so funny. Then Prabhupada Swami told him, you know, Swami Dhirananda, Swamiji's disciple, went to Brahmananda, please make some rules for the monks, young monks. But Swamiji already made the rules. Then he said, Dhirananda, instead of making more rules, increase your love. We love the order, we manage this order through love and affection, rather not through rules. It does not work. Sometimes we see that Christian monasteries, rigid rules and regulations, human beings become like automaton. They keep, it does not work. That is the way Swami Adbhutananda was leaving the monastery. Swamiji made the rule that 4 o'clock you will have to meditate, this and that. Swami Raju Maharaj packed his things and about to leave. Why are you leaving? You want to meditate only 4 o'clock. My meditation does not go that way. Swamiji said, then you go. Then he said, come back. This rule is not for you. There must be some exception. There are some formal general rules should be there. I'm just telling you some monastic order, I'm just function. Same thing, family life, every life. There must be some kind of adjustment is necessary. I remember in 1977 I asked him, Maharaj, we need monks with 3 paw. Pavitra, Premik, Pandit. Pure, loving, and scholar. Those kind of monks we need in the West. That I told him. Then another Swami Chetanananda, they said, you move around and see how many you get. How he kept himself busy even when he did not see well. He used to dictate Chandogya Upanishad and his secretary used to write. That is the way, see, Shankara's commentary of Chandogya Upanishad, Shankara's commentary of the Gita, these 2 books, and he started to translate the Madhusudan Saraswati's commentary on the Gita. That person is blind, president of the order, but he is working. Just routine life, morning 1.5 hours, afternoon 1.5 hours. 2-3 hours every day, every day. Look, contribution. Do you know what I mean? Never misuse the time of your life. Time is running out. You are going to die. As long as you have a strong body, strong mind, do something. Others, Alzheimer's, this, that. The monastic life, do not, the 2 enemies of the monastic spiritual life, easygoing life and vain glory. A comfort. The moment comfort comes to your life is doomed. no more growth. The yogis hate comfort. Struggle, struggle, struggle. Swami Prabhupada used to say, we went to Brahmananda and said, Maharaj, give us spiritual instruction. Struggle, struggle, struggle. An easy going life, I have money, I have good food, good health. Stop. They do not want to work. Rich people have rich diseases, go to the doctor's office all the time. What attracts us most to these people? Charitra, character. In every society, in every country, you will see the character is worship. Bir puja, character. If you read Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga, in the very beginning he started, what is character? Sometimes I meet the college students, the school students, theology department in St. Louis University. I ask them, tell me, what is character? Swamiji defined, whatever you do, whatever you think, they leave some impressions in the mind. Those impressions form the habit, and the habit forms character. If you do 80 good deeds, 80 good thoughts, day in, day out, your character is bound to be good, and vice versa. Character is extremely important. That we find these great Swamis. Character. Flawless. They change their lives. Somebody asked, Maharaj, what did you practice? Well, I practiced Gita chapter 5 verse 3. Geyo sa nitya sannasi yo nad veshti na kamshati nirdando hi mahabahu sukham bandhat pramuchati. That I practiced. Geyo sa nitya sannasi. He is the real monk, sannyasi, great renounced. You're not deshti, not kamshati, who does not hate anything and does not covet anything. Nirdando, who is beyond the pair of opposites, good and bad. Only that person, Stukam Bandha Pramuchate, easily gets rid of these bondage of Maya. Maya. Sometimes we see in the laboratory, microscope, small thing we see larger. Through telescope, we see the distant things close to us. But big things to see small, though that kind of machine may be available in the lab, but are not generally used. So, to evaluate these characters, these lives to me, so big, through my small microscope I cannot evaluate their greatness. They are really great. Now you can ask me questions. This type of monks are very shabulam, very independent. And their contribution, in this respect I remember the great saying of J.F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country do for you, but what you can do for your country. That is a great, great saying of Kennedy. In this order, these monks, each person is contributing something. That is the reason you see the Ramakrishna orders vast. Each monk, each nun is contributing something. It is not one-man show. You see, Swamiji had a deep problem. Whether shall I organize or not? It was in 1000 Park, 1895. He saw the defects of the religious organization, corruption, power struggle, commercialism, all problems in the religious organization. But without organization, you cannot do anything vast. We need organization. For the reason he put all safeguards for this monastic organization. If I organize, the spirit will diminish, that Swamiji said. And if I do not organize, the message will not spread. Those are all Swamiji's own words. If I organize, the spirit will diminish. All organizations have some defects, problems. And if I do not organize, the message will not spread. You know, Swamiji's, we are observing Swamiji's 125th anniversary of the Chicago Parliament. Swamiji really is something. Do you know what Swami Chetanananda said? When Swamiji came to America, we thought he was a very intelligent, bright person. But when he returned from America, we saw him as a prophet. Oh, he has so much power. Swamiji stayed in America, loved American people. I love the Yankees, Swamiji said. In San Francisco, he said to some devotees, Madam, I will have to be born again. Why, Swamiji? Because I fell in love with human beings. আমি মানুষকে ভালোবাসি. I love human beings. Please study Swami Vivekananda. You will see something about your life. That man is, if I did anything wrong, that I did for others. I never did anything for myself. How we define God in Karma Yoga. Unselfishness is God. Be unselfish. Love and serve. That Swamiji said again and again. Love people, serve people. Otherwise, hundreds and thousands of people are born every day, die every day. Who cares? You may be a big person and maybe a lot of money. Who cares? You will die, that's finished. That's all. Nobody will think of you. If you leave some money, your wife and children will appreciate. Otherwise, they will curse you. You are hopeless. You did not leave anything for us. That's all. Ask them questions. Only I am talking. 10 minutes are there.
I have a question, Swamiji.
Sure.
You said in the morning that you said it was good to read the lesson was read the instruction was read the Gita in the morning for direction and the Holy Gospel, 5 pages of the Holy Gospel in the evening for, I didn't hear what you said.
That is correct. That I said, that you know, that let me hear that the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna will give you holy companion.
Holy Company. Okay, thank you.
And the Gita will give you the direction about life, which is very, very important. The Gita. You know, sometimes about Gita. I was in hospital. The one doctor came to me. It is a school of tropical medicine in Calcutta in 1966. The radiologist is our devotee. So he was Swami Chetananda's disciple. Swami, I am a busy doctor. I have no time to practice spiritual discipline. If you can write one verse from the Gita for me, perhaps I can try to practice. So this is my diary. Please write down. So I wrote down. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat atmaivo atmana bandhu atmaivo ripuratmana Raise yourself from yourself, by yourself. Never yield to depression. Your disciplined mind is your friend. Your indisciplined mind is your enemy. Do not blame anybody. You know, sometimes those verses of the Gita, when we read, we know exactly what I am supposed to do. Then another, sometimes Swami Chetanananda used to say, sometimes we think what God can do to us. We sometimes think that way. So Swami Chetanananda said, read these 3 verses of the Gita, chapter 10, 9, 10, 11. 10, 9, 10, 11. There you will find Krishna is talking. That those who think of me and talk about me and understand me and bodhayanta parasparam kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti, and they get satisfaction from about me. Those who think about me, those who are, I am not quoting too much Sanskrit, that Satadha Yukta, those who meditate on me and worship me in this undivided way, do you know what do I do to them? Then Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yanamam upayanti de. I give the connection of their intellect with me so that they can reach me. First 3 lines, what you are supposed to do. Next 3 lines, what God is going to do to you. Next he says that I light the lamp of wisdom in their hearts and destroy the gloom, the darkness, the ignorance of those people. That God will do to us. If we think of God, God will think of us. And will illumine our hearts. That is the way. Gita is a great book, I tell you frankly. Yes.
Swamiji, I just want to state that your most recent publication that I got hold of on Ma Sharda Devi is a classic. It's an absolute classic. And those who are serious about spiritual life and to follow the path of Sri Ramakrishna, they have got to read that book. It will encourage, inspire, and elevate and enlighten the hearts of everyone.
It is, I tell you frankly, it is a mother's grace that I could do that thing.
Fantastic.
Because, do you know what, in the introduction I mentioned, there are 3 biographies in English. First was written in 1940, second was in 1953 by Gombirananda, in 1962 Swami Nikhilananda. Afterwards, there are so many information came about Holy Mother. So I took all this information and incorporated in this book. Now it is a more or less comprehensive biography of the Mother, which is Mother's grace that it took me 7 years. Same thing with Ramakrishna's Divine Play, that translation, that also took me 7 years. Hard work, very hard work, that work. Really, now they are translating in Bengali, in Marathi, in other languages, that Mother's book. I am very happy. Yes?
I think someone in your discussion had said, read these books and you won't have any more questions.
Okay.
I think you were sharing that there was a monk, a Swami, who told you, read these 2 books and you won't have any more questions.
Yes.
I can't remember which 2 it
A
was.
Guide to Spiritual Life and Spiritual Treasures, these 2 books.
Did you stop having questions?
Really, I do not have any question. When any problem comes, I see 5, 6 answers. I have a big problem. The moment you ask a question, I see 5, 6 answers. It is true. That is a very helpful book. You know. Ask me any question. Yes.
Morning, afternoon. You mentioned that, I think you were talking about Vivekananda, that when he went to India, he said, I love Yankees, and I love America, and at that time, I feel like if you were, our country has changed, we're in a different place now. At that time, that was his mission if he could see America today, I wonder what he would think of it. But my other forward-looking question is, where do you see the Ramakrishna mission being called today, and where do you see it in 100 years?
Ramakrishna mission here today to 100 years.
Yes, where do you see the mission being called in the world today,
As
whether in America or any other part of the world, and where do you see it in 100 years?
you see, Swamiji loved America. Do you know why? 2 reasons. First, democracy. And second, love for freedom. This country cannot bear dictatorship, democracy. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. This democracy, do you know what does it mean? Vedantic concept of God is a democratic concept of God. You are God, He is God, He is God, He is God, everybody is God. That is a democratic conception of God. Second, freedom. American people cannot bear slavery. Freedom, freedom. Freedom is the song of the soul. That Swamiji said again and again. Freedom. America's presiding deity, Statue of Liberty. I went up to the shoulder. There is a spiral inside. Previously you can go and see up to the eyes. So I went up to the shoulder. They stopped going there. Anyhow, that is the Statue of Liberty. That is the American symbol. Freedom. You see, America is a new country. It is a country of the immigrants. During 1976, the bicentennial of America, I went to Smithsonian Institution, and they have an exhibition abroad in America. There are 26 pavilions. One of them was Swami Vivekananda, who contributed the heritage, spiritual heritage of America. They're demonstrating that foreigners who came to America and contributed maximum. Vivekananda was one of them. And you were talking about the 100 years, you know, how much we have achieved and how it will go. You see, Swamiji started 2 centers. One is in New York, another is San Francisco. Then came many centers. We can open many, many centers in this country, but we are short of hands. We do not have too many monks. But most of the main cities now, we have centers. We have centers. So, do you know what? Then in 1960s, many yogis, gurus, babas flooded America. Now Hatha Yoga. All these things are entered into the American mainstream. But it was Swami Vivekananda who paved the road for all these people. Swamiji broke that kind of exclusiveness and, you know, that kind of rigid conservatism in this country. Ingersoll told Swamiji that 20 years ago, if you would come to this country, you would be stoned to death. I broke the shell, hard shell of this country. But you know, these yogis, gurus, babas, you know how they are doing also some good, no doubt, but they are like hayfire. Whoosh! Fire comes and then the fire extinguishes. But Ramakrishna order, Vedanta movement, as we do, it is just like a big log. It takes time to ignite. And when it ignites, it lasts long, long, long. So we are just working, you know, no show business. I gave a lecture, I remember, in the millennium in Chicago. What we cannot do. We cannot open a vegetarian restaurant. We cannot sell books in the airport. We cannot sing and dance on the street. We cannot, what is called, charge money. I know that transcendental meditation for initiation, they will charge you $125. We're going to do all those things. Then we, all this business we cannot do. We do not teach Hatha Yoga either. So in this way, I gave 12 points what we cannot do. Then I told what we can do. So anyhow, this our Ramakrishna movement and Ramakrishna mission, this work is slow but steady. The other organization, one-man show. The moment a person dies, the organization goes away. So that is the reason Swamiji made this organization impersonal. It is not only Chetanananda. It is behind this, there is a big spiritual heritage of India. The Vedantic spiritual heritage. 5,000 years we are carrying this message. So it will continue, no doubt. It needs your cooperation. You people should come and see. At the time of selling, and the glass bead sells according to its price, and the jewel sells according to its price. So people know what is available in the market. It is one of my student, known person wrote a book, Spiritual Supermarket in America. So yogis, gurus, babas, Swami Adi Sharananda used to tell me that in New York, in every corner you will find a guru is waiting. The guru is a business. Then I was asking him, some people take initiation and go away. It hurts. Then he was telling, brother, why are you so much hurt? In this country, people change their husband, change their wife, change guru. What is wrong? He was very funny. Change guru, change husband, change wife, change guru. What is wrong? Anyhow, I tell you, I have one announcement. You see, this picture of Sri Ramakrishna was taken first in 1879 at Keshav Sen's house in Calcutta. 1879. Then I got a picture from New York. Then I gave to the Vice President of Disneyland, Mr. John Hens, who makes all the Mickey Mouse. So he makes this picture. So I brought 20 copies here in the bookshop. If anybody wants, can have this picture. This expression of samadhi has never been photographed. So those who are interested can pick up from the bookshop. Otherwise, there will be
Yes. Swami, now Swamiji will be going to the bookstore for some time. If you want to buy books written by him, he will be happy to sign them. And then our lunch will be at 1 p.m. And once it is ready, you can definitely come to our assembly room and pick up your lunch. Then from 2 p.m. we have open time and for resting. You can read books or go to the river. The river is very nice here. And today temperature is little less. So probably will. And also we have Garden of Saints. There also you can spend some time. And at 3:15, devotional songs will be presented by Ujjwal Chaudhary, our local talent. He had presented here many times. So he has agreed to present a few songs for 45 minutes. And Swami will be returning at 4 p.m. to give the second portion of his talk, Stories of Vedanta Monks. And that also will be accompanied by questions and answers. And 5:30 p.m. we shall have a break. 5:45 we shall have Vesper service and closing remarks. Then at 6:15 we shall disperse after light refreshments. So I am very thankful to you for attending this retreat, and also definitely I thank Swami Chetanananda for coming continuously for 20 years. That means this is our 20th annual retreat with him. So you are welcome to spend some time and take your lunch. Thank you very much.